All right, so the number 19 Colorado Buffaloes travel to Eugene, Oregon to take on Puddles and the number 10 Oregon Ducks at Watson Stadium this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Central on ABC. And this game, like the Nebraska game and like the Colorado State game, is personal for the Buffaloes. The Nebraska game was because of the historic rivalry that exists between Colorado and Nebraska. The Colorado State game was because of the fiasco leading up to the game with Jay Norvell and his comments. And this Oregon game, it's personal to the Buffaloes because of the comments that Oregon head coach Dan Lanning had about Colorado when asked at the Pac-12 Media Days about Colorado's impending move from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 that'll take place next year. He said, and I quote, "I don't have a big reaction. I'm trying to remember what they won to affect this conference when they were part of it. I don't remember." Quite honestly, when I read that quote over this morning, I laughed because it's very raw, it's very honest, it's very zesty, I've got to say. It's like shots fired. But I like it because it's not like generic coach speech. He was authentic in what he says, but he was a little zesty, and I appreciate it because it makes that comments like that make things interesting in the world of college football. So I appreciate that. So it makes what we do here talking a lot more interesting. So I thought about this game. This game has been on my mind for a while because it's Colorado's first conference game in the Pac-12 with Coach Prime Deion Sanders. So that was on my mind, but it's also, I think, Colorado's most considerable challenge on their schedule, as it's in Eugene and it's against who I believe is the best team in the Pac-12 right now. So this is the ultimate test. Oregon is the gold standard right now in that conference. It's a very complete, buttoned up, well put together team. And I always like to make analogies. I always like to make comparisons. And when thinking about this game, I naturally thought of the Week 16 matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Giants back in 2007. The Patriots were 15-0 going into the game, and the Giants were still scrapping for a wild card spots. But the Giants competed. I believe the Patriots won 38-35. But that was the Giants' first experience facing a team that's Super Bowl caliber that year, getting that experience, seeing what that's going to be like. In order to beat the best, you have to see the best. And Colorado is going to get their first experience this weekend, really seeing the best, really seeing what an elite college football team looks like under Coach Prime. And it could be humbling, but I think they're going to battle. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people, I think, are expecting a beatdown in this game, Oregon dominating Colorado, because especially after the way that Colorado State game went. But this team has grit. This team has resilience. And this team is very together. Deion Sanders is an amazing leader of men. And for that reason, you're going to see a fantastic collective effort. And I think you'll see a very close game. I do think Oregon prevails, but it will be a very close game. And that will turn a lot of heads. And if they lose, I really don't think that they should lose their AP ranking, especially going into an environment like Watson Stadium and taking on the number 10 ranked Ducks. Let's talk about Oregon for a few minutes. There's been a lot of talk about Colorado, as there should be. I mean, they have Deion Sanders has revolutionized college football in the way that people talk about it. The marketing around it has been fantastic, and I value and appreciate that. But we got to talk about Oregon here for a few minutes. So they are allowing an astounding 15.7 points per game on defense. And granted, Oregon is a team that hasn't really been challenged yet, but that's still, I don't care who you play, that is astounding on defense. And for their offense, let's talk 58 points per game, including when they hung 81 points on Portland State. Should they have done that? That's another discussion for another day. I know that some people are not a fan of running up the score. They find it offensive, but Oregon just couldn't stop scoring that day. Their offense is truly prolific and unlike anything that Colorado has seen yet this year. Their defensive line is deep, and I think Colorado's offensive line is going to have a tough time protecting that. But luckily, Shedeur Sanders is great on his feet. He'll step out of the pocket. He can extend plays, and he has the vision to locate open receivers and make a play out of nothing. And he could be the most accurate quarterback in college football. So that's another thing that's very much going to keep Colorado competitive in this game. Even though on paper it looks like a mismatch, players like that are going to keep Colorado in this game. But I'll tell you what's going to keep Colorado out of this game. Travis Hunter not being on the field. He's out for at least 3 weeks. And Travis Hunter is an X-factor player. That's like the Rams not having Aaron Donald on the field. It's a completely different team. The identity is completely different. And I think Colorado will struggle for a while trying to find their identity without him. They improvised well on Saturday without him, but when you're facing a team as imposing as Oregon, you've got to dig deep. I think they're going to. I think they're going to keep it close for that reason. But ultimately, I don't think they're going to prevail without having number 12 on the field going into a top 10 environment like Autzen Stadium. And let's keep in mind that the Oregon offense is led by Heisman candidate Bo Nix. This is a phenomenal, very well put together team. And Bo Nix has been absolutely flourishing in Oregon's system. And I think that he'll continue to because Colorado's defensive line has been struggling to get pressure. Colorado State had no problem picking apart their defense because there's just no pressure. They had time to sit back there. You give Bo Nix time to sit in the pocket without pressure, he's going to surgically carve that defense. And I think you'll see that on Saturday. It's going to be a shootout. I really think it's going to be a shootout. I'll give my final score here in a few minutes. But Colorado has proved its capabilities. It's proved its resilience in the past 3 games. Not only they've played only one ranked team, but they've proved how capable of a team they are, and I think that they're a team that can finish the season ranked. However, this challenge, I think, is massive for Colorado. Like I said in the TCU game, they'll learn about themselves a lot more. They'll dig deep, find an identity, continue to find character. But ultimately, I'm going with the Ducks in this game by the score of 45-35. I think it's going to be a 10-point deficit. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be entertaining. I'll be working at the Alabama-Ole Miss game, but I will be tracking this game on my phone at halftime, looking up at the scoreboard to see what the score is. But I do want to address this before I conclude the video. Colorado is only given a 6% chance to win this game per ESPN analytics, and I have to say, that's preposterous. What more does this team have to prove to get respect? What more does this team have to display to show that they are a capable team, to show that they can hang in these games? 6%? I mean, that's like putting Oregon up against, UTSA or UTEP. 6%? Let's give Colorado a little bit more respect. I would say give Oregon like a 64% chance to win this game. But 94? That's out to lunch. It's even if Colorado loses this game, it's to a tremendous opponent, and we have to take our caps off and finally respect Colorado for what they've done. I know that's a struggle for a lot of people because a lot of people don't agree with Deion's leadership style and the way that he's guided this team to where they are. But the results speak for themselves these past 3 weeks. And yes, they may not win on Saturday, but they're going to keep it very competitive. And 6% is not an accurate representation of that. I'm looking forward to another personal game for the Buffaloes, an entertaining game at that. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.